Welcome back to another episode of the Not So Old Boys, the podcast where we dive deep into conversations that matter. This two-part episode is one that hits close to home for many of us. We're peeling back the layers and shedding light on male body image. In a world that constantly bombards us with unrealistic expectations, today we're bravely exploring the insecurities and body image struggles that we and other men face. Get ready for some raw, honest conversations because it's time to break the silence. This is where we keep it real, we keep it raw, and we keep it relatable. Let's dive in.
Right, fellas, listen up.
I need to do it again now,
Fellas!
So we're here again with Lloyd Rees.
My name's Lloyd. I'm second best left back at club level.
And we welcome back again another fan favourite of Stephen Pearce.
Yeah.
The actual fan favourite of,
No worries.
of Rob Benson.
Yeah, gives you back.
Fives, Jack Coughlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, big.
Strong.
Big like that. Love that.
That's huge.
Yeah, Jack, captain of the Fives. CDM, legend.
And it's my pleasure to introduce co-manager Michael Hoffman.
Special guest.
One man.
Cheers, guys.
And as always, I'm Chesney Jennings, co-manager of the 3's 11. Our own experiences and how we've struggled with body image and how that's actually affected us going forward. So myself, it started when I was in school. I was bullied a lot in school because I was a little bit bigger than everybody else. And I look back at the pictures and I wasn't actually that big in comparison to everybody else. But like for me, I used to get teased an awful lot and get called like fat mess and stuff like that. And that really affected me. I went home and I was wondering why I'd starved myself at some points. And that affected me again going into later life, where I always look at myself and I always think I'm not good enough. Even when I was at my peak physical, I was wearing small clothes or extra large boys' clothes, and I was like 23 years old, and I still didn't think I looked good enough. Now I'm huge. I'm like extra large in clothes.
You're not huge.
and I still have the same qualm as what I did back there. It's like when I'm in pictures, I don't really want to be in pictures because I'm so self-conscious of myself. And going back when I was in a good shape, I was 86 kilos and I was fighting, and I still look, and I was like in great shape there as well when I was fighting. But now I look back, I was, oh yeah, great shape. But then thinking about it, I still had a bit of a belly and I still wasn't good enough. Yeah, I was competing as well. And I think it stemmed all the way back from my own childhood, just being bullied, of not being good enough, not being accepted, not being picked first because I was maybe stockier than the other kids who were always taller than me and always slight. Whereas if you look at me, I'm very broad, and I'm never going to be, I'll never be the same physique as yourself, Rob, or yourself, Lloyd, because that's not how I'm built. And I realise that now, but I still have the pact of everybody always looks better than me.
Yeah, that's always the thing, isn't it? That's that grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah, I just want to know like other people's experience and how it's affected your own.
Yeah, I've actually got a question. I don't know how to phrase it delicately, so this might get cut in a sense.
It's fine.
But like, that wasn't me as a kid. I was a bit like what you described earlier, and probably I think what you said as well. Like 14, 15, 16, I was like micro thin, like paper thin, like the whole time. And I think if I reflect back now, and I saw someone who wasn't like that, I would probably be like, why? Because I think I don't know, like, I don't think people who are a bit bigger were that common when I was 14. It feel like people like that stood out more. And I don't know why that might be in my head.
No, I think you're right. I have nothing to say. If I look back to when I was at school, I think I looked really skinny.
Like,
I think
90% was like the norm,
90% of my year.
So what I was going to ask you was, can you pick a reason like that now? And again, I don't have to phrase really carefully, but as a teacher, there are some kids who in the lunch queue go twice. And just like, part of the reason you may look the way you look is because you're queuing up for lunch twice. You're having lunch and then going in the back of the lunch queue and having lunch again. Like, that's not good. That's not a healthy thing to do, right? Having two lunches.
No.
And if you're doing that every day,
Yeah.
You are going to put on weight, right? That is going to happen, right? And that's not the norm for most kids. And not everyone's in the same Like, that's not the reason everyone may look the way they look. But was there, like, when you think back now, were you that style of kid, or is it just a case of maybe you weren't having as many healthy meals at home, or was it that, like me, you got your £2 and I just went to the shop and bought sweets with it? And some people struggle with like having the really fizzy drinks and the sugary sweet stuff, and then not having like a breakfast, or they weren't having like the fruit option, they were having the chips, or they weren't like. Can you think of a reason it was like that, or do you think just naturally, even from being like a really small kid?
No, I think for me it was I was playing sport nearly 5 times a week. I was either at rugby training, football training, after school activities. So I wasn't not active. When I was at home, my mum would always make me like a home cooked meal, and like on a Friday we'd have pizza and chips or something like that as a treat.
Yeah.
And then for lunch, I was a bit of a skinflint really with lunch, so I would try and save my money. So I'd go and have like a turkey burger and beans. That would cost me 90p. So I'd save £1.10 and I'd put it in a pot, and then I'd save up to buy something I want. So I wouldn't say I was one of those kids that would eat unhealthily. On a Friday there would be gammon and egg, but what I would do is I'd sweet talk the dinner lady.
There's always one of those kids at school, isn't there? The one that like goes in, she's like, "Hello, miss," and you're like, "Hello, boy," and then like
it's when you know them by name.
Yeah. Oh,
Hi, Sandra.
Can I? Yeah.
Funny enough, one of them was called Sandra.
Yeah, she's like,
Back again.
She was like, 2 gammons, and you're like, "Yeah, go on in," and she gives you a little wink and a second gammon comes out.
No, what she used to do is she used to not give me the gammon, but give me the egg, and I'd make a full fried breakfast. Because they'd have like toast and they'd have beans and sausages, and that would cost like £1.10. And what I'd do is I'd be sly and hide an extra sausage under the toast, so I wouldn't have to pay for it. Yeah. I am really sorry, and that school does not exist anymore for financial reasons. But
because they took us off there, 20p loss every Friday for 5 years, just crippled the school. But Richmond's just gets too expensive, and just slide off for free.
There's nothing to do with the horrendous education.
No. But. No, I wasn't one of those children that wanted to go twice. It was just my genetics. So if you
and that is the case for some people.
Look at my dad and stuff. I am built like my dad. My mum's side of the family is obviously built very broad because all farming backgrounds and stuff like that. So it was just my genetics, I think. And the other kids, and kids are harsh. Kids are brutal.
Yeah, they really are.
And it really does affect you. And you don't really take it, and then when you think about it, you think, Jesus Christ, they're savage.
Yeah. Especially because I think as a child receiving it, you haven't learnt when it's your friends saying it as genuine banter, or when it's people saying it to be mean. Like I think as adults we all agree there are probably some things you don't quite say, and then there are some like acceptable piss-taking jokes you can make about people, right? And there's sort of like a grey area in the middle for some people maybe don't quite have boundaries. Whereas a kid, you don't have that knowledge, so you just say what you see, and some of your friends laugh at it, and some of your friends don't, and you don't really reflect on how awful that thing that you've said has made that person feel.
But do you think that there is a sort of difference between what you can say to a man and what's socially acceptable to say to a man, as in air quotes, banter, and what is acceptable to say to a woman?
That's a very dangerous question.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a very good question.
Men to men is different to man to woman.
Yeah.
Woman to woman is different to woman to man.
Well,
but also
It hurts more if a woman gives you
absolutely
banter about
but it's equally
something.
So if I said you got a little cock, that would crucify me more than if a man did.
Yeah.
Well, you probably shouldn't have it out in public.
That's a fair point, Rob.
And in school.
Definitely not in schools. Definitely not in public.
So the other day, I work predominantly with women. And I feel I'm the butt of the joke quite a lot.
Is that because you're the only man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was, but you're not a real man, Lloyd. But I'm the alpha male. That sort of thing. Like, I don't know what this is based on. Whether it's because I'm a children's nurse. I don't know. But someone said to me something the other day. I literally wore the most inoffensive thing you could wear. It was a mustard yellow jumper. It was
quite offensive. That sounds highly offensive.
I'm already on their side of that.
Yeah. Whatever you're about to tell me, I agree with them.
So I was wearing this lime green. It just came out, and she just went, "I'm not sure yellow's your colour."
And you went, it's mustard.
I don't mean to laugh so aggressively now, but that's, for me, that's quite funny because it's so like straight and dry. Like that's not even insulting.
Yeah,
In like a mean way. I
was just like, what a horrible thing to say.
That's very interesting, though.
Do you think that would be acceptable for a man to say to a woman, "That's not your colour"?
I think it depends on the relationship, right? Like if it's
Yeah,
your
maybe.
missus or like your
Like you
sister
know someone.
and stuff, I think
I just
you're
felt
probably
really
right.
self-conscious.
Like,
And I haven't worn that jumper since.
yeah. So
Don't wear it again.
yeah. It does sound like it belongs in either a charity shop or a fire.
Yeah.
It's a nice jumper.
It's like a charity shop. No, but you are right though. I think the thing is, it's like you say these comments to people you know. Like if you're not on that level with them in a relationship, you just don't. It's just not a nice comment. And
Well, I just don't think you make any comments really. If you're not,
Yeah,
if you're not in
if-
that
if you're not-
relationship,
if
you just
you're
don't
not
you just
there,
make no comments,
yeah,
right?
exactly,
Because you might
yeah.
even say something you think is nice, but actually that might just be taken the wrong way or land you in hot water.
So we delve back into it, you know, has anyone else experienced what I experienced as a child, and it affected them further along the field as well?
So I've actually got on that, not something that happened when I was a child, because I've got my body issues in terms of weight, but I had something that happened when I was like 18, and I went to a house party, and it all came from banter really, and I went there in something that I had to change into, so I just took my top off, and someone commented from across the room, "Fucking hell, you've got big nipples." And it's funny. No, it's funny. You can laugh. You don't have to hide
Are
it.
you sure? Because I'm really holding it in.
No, it's funny. No. I was in a room full of mates, and there were women there as well, and everyone turned and looked at me, and I was really embarrassed. But at the time, I was like, "No, whatever." But then I started looking at myself, and I went, "Oh, fucking hell, they are big."
Can I see them?
You've seen them before.
Yeah, and I've never said they're big, so I don't think they're that offensive. Yeah.
Nah.
I'm not impressed.
No.
Well,
I was expecting
I was
so
really
much.
underwhelming.
Yeah.
but anyway, regardless of whether you think they're big or not, don't really give a shit. But it became a thing, and then in my head, it compounded, and it got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And now it's like my biggest hang-up.
Yeah.
And I've spoken about like this with people I'm really close to. They all said, "Oh, it's nothing to worry about." But I've actually thought about having plastic surgery to change them because of that. But it is something that is fundamental. You can't really. I was born like this. I can change it. It will cost me a lot of money and a dangerous surgery. But it's not something I can't. It's not like losing weight where it's something you can do and it's really difficult, but you can do it without needing surgical intervention.
Quick question for you. How many other people have said this to you or pointed this out to you?
Oh, actually, it does
Just
get pointed out quite a lot, actually.
Really?
Yeah, and now that people know about it, people make jokes about it. And it's fine, because I make jokes about it as well. But it does actually, it does bug me.
Well, not even in a weird way, but like you just showing it there, like I couldn't see anything wrong with that at all.
That was a genuine reaction.
Like,
I wasn't banning. They are
No.
not big.
No.
Okay, well, I'm glad you guys think that, but I still think they're, and that is my biggest hang-up. And I think it affects the way I wear clothes. Yeah. Like, I would not wear a white T-shirt from Primark.
Yeah, I wouldn't wear one of those.
Regardless, they're too thin.
Would you wear a mustard yellow jumper?
Actually, no, I
Right.
would not wear a mustard yellow jumper.
Not because of body, just because you wouldn't wear a mustard.
I'm going to wear it next time. We'll see. There's nothing wrong with it.
Thankfully, with that video.
This is a really good point, though, because like, how shit is that this one person all those years ago made this one passing comment, and now that has bugged you for years, and now you're it's like.
Well, actually, funny enough, bodybuilders actually have the surgery that I've looked into having because they will not be able to. They can compete, but they're straight away stripped of having any chance of winning because they have larger than. And it's actually not just the nipples; it's an increase of fat around the nipple. I think it's called gyno or something like that. And they will have the surgery. Yeah, and they have the surgery pre-performance because they have to lower that level of fat around there because around the pec it makes it droop and it makes it stick out a bit more. So even if your pecs are pumped up like Lloyd when he was ripped to fuck, like
right now,
unhealthy, but you had really good form and
definition.
Yeah, definition.
Yeah,
Whereas
really
if you
fine
have that, it sticks out.
I think it's more from that point of view. From with bodybuilders, it's more steroids will give you sort of obviously you're messing with your hormones.
Yeah,
and you will start to produce small sort of breasts. And it does expand the nipple. That's more why they have that.
And it's actually quite common, and so that's how I know quite a bit about it.
That's a whole world.
Yeah.
Just opened up my eyes to a whole world there.
Yeah.
I think I think there might be a whole sort of semi-documentary YouTube version of it about people having to go into these things, and it probably is quite you work your arse off to get into shape to do a competition, and then they go, actually, you can't actually compete because you have that body sort of difference, even if you're born with it or if it was emphasised by steroids, for example. But
I know, Jack, let's just say before I cut this, but it would be interesting one day to do sort of topic about surgery and sort of how, because of how different it is between men and women, how accepted it is, and how it's more and more men are now going for sort of procedures.
Yeah.
Which...
The one I've always thought about is hair implants.
Yeah.
I actually thought about that.
Line,
when Stephen was speaking.
Yeah.
Because I know, but not. Yeah, I mean, yours is not this. Mine is somewhere. Basically, my eyebrows are fully scared away my fringe. At some point, they've had a falling out, and the hair's gone back because my eyebrows have firmly held place.
But again,
and your eyebrows falling out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Having my eyebrows on my cheeks but really large locks might be quite a lot worse. But no, it's certainly something I've considered. Yeah.
But again, we do joke with you, Rob, sometimes that about your hair and stuff like that. Have you ever actually thought that is actually? It's quite hurtful.
I don't see it that way, because the people that are saying it I know are my friends, and they know that I will probably say some silly shit back to them. It's more of, I know that it will make me feel more confident in myself because it's how I'm viewing myself as opposed to how other people are viewing me. Mm-hmm. And that might sound slightly contradictory to what I've said earlier, but I don't know how to explain it. But some things I really care what other people think about, and other things I don't really care what other people think about. It's more what I think about myself. And there's no system for when that thought process might take place. But my hair is something that I think I want it to look a certain way, and so you get your hair cut in a certain way, or you style in a certain way and stuff. Whereas other things I am more worried about what other people think. And it's only really bad at football when the wind's blowing in one direction and it looks like I've got a toupee glued on. Yeah, when the trumpet comes on, or I find myself walking down the road, and when I've got a tailwind, my hair looks quality. when I'm walking into a headwind, it's all kinds of scary sort of Frankenstein monsters in my head. So,
do you think it was Wayne Rooney that really?
He was definitely one of the first, wasn't he? But actually, what's really interesting is you look at him now. His hair is not good. So
he doesn't look good.
No, and obviously his stress from obviously doing the football management and the thing that's gone on with Colleen and stuff recently. If you watch the documentary, have I just admitted that on camera? I've watched the Colleen Rooney documentary.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's nothing about
just to say it out loud. But you watch the documentary, you can see even until the last couple of years, his hair looked alright, and then over the last more recently, it's definitely looked bad. But yeah, he was probably one of the first people I remember getting it done, and then it sort of became a running meme. Where Jordan Shaqiri went off for a summer and came back and looked like a full head of hair, and then Andros Townsend came back and looked...
David Silva, not Martin, Ter Stegen, what's his name?
Marc-André Ter Stegen,
Ter Stegen.
Rob Holding's hair made a comeback like no other. And Andros
it's
Townsend...
good that this is normalised, because...
But that's what I'm saying, because they've done it, yeah.
Why not? A woman's been having breast implants for however many years because they've... it's very much acceptable.
Yeah.
Whereas I think men, it wasn't so acceptable at first.
No,
but now
you need those popular figures to do it.
Exactly, and I love that sort of rebellion against it now. It's no one's trying to hide it anymore.
No. My dad got one, right? My dad's had a hair transplant, and it definitely looks better.
Say breast implant.
And he's had two of those.
I just picture it then going,
Your mum's had breast implants.
Has she?
Yeah.
Did you?
They look great.
Let's hope this one isn't released to my parents. I don't think they're ready for episode 3 to have my mum's imaginary breast implant spoken about. But no, he had the hair transplant done, and and I think for me as well, that's a male in my life that I then look to and think, oh, if my dad could do it, fuck, I can definitely get it done. He's in his late 50s and he's got it done, and he looks better for it, and he feels more confident for it. And yeah, there are definitely downsides. Coming back with a head full of scabs and being in sheer agony for a few days and stuff is obviously not great, but if it makes you feel more confident, then why not, kind of thing. If any of you boys ever said, oh, I think about getting X done, I'd say are you sure? And then if you're yeah, no, I 100% want to do that, then I go support you, crack on, unless it sounded really dangerous or something, you were going to get a lung taken out or something
for fun.
Just for
kids. Or you're going to have your ribs removed to suck your own cock.
I think
that's question.
Well, as I said, I was really skinny as a kid, and I was thinking about it as we were talking. Actually, I used to eat so much food because I was so paranoid about how slim I was. It's only in the last, for two different reasons. Only the last 3 years I've been wearing t-shirts. I've always wearing t-shirts from about 12. You wear shirts? Purely only jumpers, only quarter zips, only coats. Even if it was like 30 degrees, I'd have to wear a jumper.
Your man's not hot.
That was from 11 till about 22. From 11 to 17, it's got so paranoid about being skinny. I don't know how my arms looked in t-shirts. Now it's because I don't know how my belly looks in t-shirts. And I've had many a breakdown, many hissy fit, many would not go on a night out. Even if it's just meeting my mates down the pub, I'll be like, sorry boys, I'm not coming out. Because I just, anything I'm wearing. Yeah, anything. It's really bad. Talking about clothes sizes, I'm not massive, but in my head I'm huge. I only ever buy double XL clothes, even like some triple XL clothes. I don't need to, but it's a pure insecurity. Like if I wear anything smaller, if it even touches my skin, I get like overly paranoid stuff. So yeah, I never really thought about it until we spoke about doing this topic. I've suffered quite a lot of mental health due to body image for about 10 odd years.
So do you think you've got? I think they call it body
dysmorphia.
Yeah. So do you reckon you think you might have that a little bit?
Yeah, my girlfriend tells me all the time. Like I'll put on a t-shirt and it would look totally normal. And I'm like, that's it. I'm not going out. I'm not doing it. Yeah. I'm not doing it. I'm fat. I'm huge. I'm this. I'm that. I'm disgusting. I'm ugly. I hate being in photos. Don't want to be in photos. Don't want to do this. Don't want to do that. Like that's it. I'm not seeing anyone. Yeah. It really is. It's suffered quite a lot from it, really. But then I don't do anything to help myself. Then I think, right, I'll go to the gym. This is it. I'll do it for 2 weeks. Same as you, do it for 2 weeks, and then I get, can't be arsed.
It's hard.
Let's get Chinese.
Yeah, it's hard. It is hard.
Yeah, I always say I only do football. Only like.
Do you think that would actually help you though, because you aren't fat? There's nothing wrong with you. So, but if you went to the gym and you hit it hard for a year, and you would find something else about yourself to make yourself not feel comfortable, right? So it's not a body thing. It's a
mental thing.
It's a mental thing.
That's what it is, isn't it? In a sense, it's a mental health.
It's pure
disease.
mental. Yeah. The main thing I don't like about my body is my belly and my hairline. But the interesting thing is, like, it's very interesting. I'm very paranoid, like I said, about wearing t-shirts on my body. I'm not fussed about my hairline. Once it goes, it's just getting shaved off, and that's me done. Like, I've got no qualms about. I've never thought. You said about earlier. I've never thought about getting surgery of anything. It's weird. I'm very accepted of who I am. Also hate how I look.
Yeah,
it's a weird line.
I think the hairline thing is because I have an aspiration of what I think looks like a really good haircut. I just want to have it once. I just want once to be able to go like flick the hair back. Like just once in my life, please, just be able to go run the hair through and have like the L'Oreal advert and stuff, and then be like, now I look fucking sexy.
You got your hair trimmed a couple of weeks ago. You look great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because I managed to just about cover it up, like in a sort of like when the sides are cut in and the top is looking a bit fresh and a bit crispy.
Yeah. It was the video you done for the Instagram.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, it was good there.
Yeah, I did good. I look fucking class in that kit.
If you want to see any of the pictures, available on Hinge or Tinder.
Yeah. Rob Benson, best left back at club level.
You were saying about compliments and how that one guy sort of. Wherever you are, my friend.
Oh,
we thank you.
I hope you have a good. Yeah, honestly, I hope you have a great life. He deserves it. He really does.
Weirdly enough, you said something to me at someone's party.
Was it nice? Please tell me.
No, it was nice. It was a video of me in a Twinkie.
that bloody mustard jumper.
Oh, I know what it is.
And it's the tweet. Me videoing the Twinkie, and you were like, "Lloyd, this is a sexy look."
It's the quiz.
Remember when you see it, and that stayed with me.
Oh, good.
And it's like, yes.
Fuck me, there you go.
But it is, you're right. The one compliment does stay with you. The one compliment does stay with you, doesn't it?
But I definitely think that it helps from it's from someone who maybe, like, if your mum says, "Oh, you look nice," you go, "Shut up." Do not believe you for a second. You have to say that.
I disagree with that. When your mum tells me I look nice.
I'm actually buzzed when your mum tells me I look hot.
Yeah. That's interesting, though. Because you're saying like so you both remember one compliment. I only ever remember the negatives. I can't remember one compliment.
Oh, I remember all the negatives.
I could be given 10 compliments and one negative. Yeah. All I can remember is
that's human psychology. I think there's a thing in teaching. They say like a child it takes 10 positive things to counteract the one negative thing.
Yeah.
And that stays with like just in general human psychology. I think like you said, you remember that one comment I made in the house party once as well. And that stuck with you for a long time. That's sort of human nature, unfortunately. We always put the negatives because we're all critical of each other and ourselves.
But why is it so easy to see those negatives in yourself?
I think because you want to see the negative. I think because I look at myself and think, I look like this, and if someone says it, it gives me the wrong validation, but the validation
Yeah.
Like,
but when you showed me that video and said you look great in this, I didn't see that. But when someone says your nose looks a bit bent, I can see it. Not only do I see it, it's magnified by about 10.
Yeah,
what it really probably is.
Maybe you, if we see the flaws in ourselves, we think, oh, maybe they're not there. Maybe I'm just being hypercritical myself. But then when someone says it, you're like, oh, no, I was right. I've been thinking it for 10 years, and I've been told I've been confirmed that I was right. Yeah. Whereas you don't necessarily walk around thinking. And I think maybe there's like a bit of an English not wanting to appear arrogant kind of thing, but like you don't walk around and be like, I'm fucking sexy. And then someone turns around and goes like, you're hot. And you're like, yes, I fucking am. I'm the dog's bollocks. Because then everyone thinks like, you're a cock.
Rob, we literally had that conversation yesterday when I saw you.
No,
Yeah, just a quick one from myself. Really, it's a little bit different to like everybody else. Everyone else kind of remembers. Everyone's sort of kind of speaking about how they've been like quite self-conscious, like at a younger age, and it's kind of dragged through. I have similar experiences as you, Ches. Like, you know, people and kids, like, you have a lot of banter thrown at you. You also have a lot of mickey taking, bullying. Like, a lot of people say stuff, and it's very easy to. It's always like the fat jokes, isn't it? It's always the first thing. It's something like the first thing people say. You know, you're this, you're that, you're fat, you're this. But for me, like, I was always quite thick-skinned. Like, I always kind of took it on the chin and like just kind of shrugged it off. Like, it never really. Yeah, of course, it's never nice to hear, but it never really fazed me. But now that I'm older, it is actually affecting me. You know, like more so the last sort of couple of years, especially when COVID came around the corner and I really felt myself going into this kind of like spiral that I was in, and that for me kind of triggered a lot where I was now really kind of feeling the effects, and mentally I was like, this isn't nice. Like, this isn't good. Like, even if I have banter now, like with my mates, and they say, I don't know, they don't mean it, but it still kind of, you still have that self-consciousness straight away.
Yeah.
And it triggers. And then, you know, like for me, like I'm shopping, a lot of people say about like Giacomo and a few other places, like I'm shopping in bigger tool sections like everywhere, and it's, you know, thank God that they exist, but it's not nice. Like, now I want to try and get back to, you know, fitting into nice normal clothes. And so for me, like the anxiety and the mental health side of things has come at a later period, not so much from when I was younger and it's kind of like, you know, trickled through. I kind of took it on the chin back then.
And when you suppressed it quite a lot.
Yeah.
Suppressed it, and plus, like, I don't think it. For me, I didn't really see the issues because, like, I've always been like a slightly bigger kid, a slightly chubbier kid, but I was always a kid that was still playing sport, rugby, football, whatever.
Yeah.
So I never really saw like the effects of being a bigger kid. Went to university, was playing sport like 5-6 times a week. Football Saturdays as well for like the Old Wilsonians, and rugby like 2 or 3 times training during the week, a match day. It was constant, and I was like, that's in between like a hectic like schedule, binging, going out like so much, like boozing, eating the wrong stuff, and I was still able to kind of perform and still be involved. And then you cut that back, and when all that kind of stops, it's then caught up on me so quickly.
Yeah.
And it's now, I'm like, all those years of kind of like build up, it's now I'm like, I've got to make some changes. Now I'm like, I've got to be in bigger clothes, it's got to be slightly baggier, or, you know, I'm conscious of, you know, even things like I'm looking at or planning like where you know, locations, like where we're going to go. Can I walk to that place? Can I not? If I can't, what's my next route? What's the next? So it's constantly planning, and it's stressful.
Yeah.
So I imagine that takes quite a toll when you've got
100%.
Like, especially because that's a thing that lots of other people don't even have to consider. And I think even as like your friends, I wouldn't necessarily think straight away like, oh, we can't go here because you can't walk. Like, that's just not something that would enter my brain. And that sounds really selfish, but because it's quite uncommon, it's not everyone's first thought when you're planning something.
It's a problem that I've had, not, you know, now I'm kind of like starting to get out of it, but that is a problem that I've probably had for the last 2 or 3 years, and it's like so embarrassing. Like, I can't. How do I tell my mates that? How do I tell my mates that I can't do a 15-minute walk to maybe like the next place? You know, it's and like the anxiety of having to go, lads, like, can we get a cab, or like can we get the next train, whatever, you know, finding alternative routes. And it's something that some of them I think if I sat them down and actually had, you know, if they may or may not listen to this, you know, if they actually understood it, I think they'd be really, really supportive.
Yeah,
but the problem is speaking out and actually sitting them down and having that conversation. You know, I've not told any of you this. This is the first time you're all hearing it, but now in the future you might consider that.
I think about it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
and I don't ever say it, but even like today, we in Jackson, actually, is Hoff going to be okay going up here? Because until we didn't really thought about it, we thought, well, like, what are you like getting around kind of thing, you know? Because it's good to hear that you're making positive steps in that, but actually it wasn't something I even really thought to consider, and that sounds really shameful for me. But equally, until you tell people that it's a thing you're struggling with,
the right thing you've mentioned is it's not common. I'm not going to say I don't think it's not normal. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's a fair label, but it's not common. Mm-hmm. So people aren't used to kind of taking that into consideration. You know, it's just not something you think. So I don't blame people. I'm not here going, my mates are shit, people are shit, because you just don't think about it. Yeah. If you could walk 10 or 15, 20 minutes down the road, you're just going to get on and do it. But for myself, it's that anxiety of like going, okay,
sort of change the plans.
Lads,
you probably don't want to feel like you're having to put
a burden.
5 or 6.
I feel like a constant burden where I'm walking a bit slower, or not getting to places quickly enough, or you know, or maybe I'm just like, do you know what, you lot go on, I'll do my own thing.
Location because of you or whatever.
100%.
I think you cover it very well. I hope you don't mind me saying this. The time something happened when we were away, when it sort of, where I did notice, must be difficult for you because you had it so well, was when we were waiting for the return flight, and you were looking at the plane. You said, "Oh, that's an older plane," and you sounded really worried about it. And I just sort of went, "Oh, sorry, mate. They all fly. They all take off. It'll be safe." And you just went, "No, smaller seats." And I just, for that moment, I thought, wow, I never considered it, that, you know, how stressful that must be for you. And I just felt really bad for you at that time, if I'm honest. And I hope you don't mind me saying
that. No, not at all. It's good this is what we're here for. Like, we're here to talk and be a bit open and honest. And, you know, for me, having this conversation, it's quite, obviously, it's a little bit difficult, but it's good to be open and honest. And these are the things, and this is why I'm now, you know, really trying to make better choices, and, you know, really trying to push on and get myself back to how I was a couple of years ago, because these are the things that are going through my mind, like simple things like journeys, travels, planes, you name it. You know, like I'm trying to, like, if you ever, what was it, a year ago or so, we took a trip to Krakow, and I thought, we'd be really smart, like, it's just me and the boys, like, we'll get the front seats, right? So we turn up, we've got the front row, paid a bit extra, got extra leg room, sat down, and they're bucket seats. Yeah, so you've got the sides that don't fold up, they're just stuck in. And I spent 2.5 hours on this flight in the most awkward and uncomfortable position. And that's when you think, like, I'm like, I've got a plan. I have to plan ahead. I have to, like, look at seating plans. You know, I go to the O2, went to see, who was it? It was Mickey Flanagan, actually. We had seats of Mickey Flanagan. And I went to sit in the seat, and obviously you've got the drink cup holders either side of you, and I couldn't fit in that, and I'm like, so I've got to go now, try and panic and find someone to try and get like an accessible spot somewhere. Yeah. And that is like mentally draining. Now the people that I'm with, they're like, they've got a choice: come with me or stay where they are, and. Luckily, to be fair, that particular show was with, I think I went with my brothers, and of course they were very, they came, of course they did. But that could have been a position where I was sat by myself.
And a little bit of a difficult choice, because even if it's like, you might even where you go to, there might only be 2 seats available when you've got 4 friends, right? So then you've got like, which one of you is going to come and sit with me over here? Kind of thing.
So awkward, you know, and it's not nice to put anyone, that's now stress that's added to them. And you know, so now I've got a kind of, that's another thing. Whenever I go to the O2, I've got to look at that option or see if so
would that be, like, do you want, is it right, or do you want companies to maybe advertise like wider seats or something like that? Is that something?
Do you know what? I think that's a really good point, because I think companies are really, really like quite unfair anyway. Like, people, this day, as time goes on, people are getting bigger. Yeah. All right, so there's no hiding that. People are naturally just getting bigger for whatever, you know, one reason or another. and everybody puts, every business is trying to like incorporate the smallest squeeze as much to maximise as many more seats or people to maximise revenue, maximise profits. And I think, just have an understanding, it could be a small print, it could be whatever, a hidden message somewhere that you just hover over and it pops up with the dimensions. That might help people so much rather than turning up to the show, maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes or even dead on time, and then the anxiety of rushing around trying to like, oh my God, like, what do I do now? So a lot of that has also triggered a lot of like, I've got to sort myself out.
It's part of the reason you're making the change.
100%. There's lots of other reasons as well. The benefits to my health is obviously the key thing here. But it doesn't matter how much people have told me about, let's do this, try that, it doesn't work. It goes in one ear, out the other. I've just got to do it, and that's been the biggest driver.
The thing is, you can't make people want to change. They have to want to change themselves, and then you can be there to support.
And I want to be clear that if anyone that I know that is friends of mine or whatever that do this, and they have been. I've got a lot of people that have been so supportive, and I do feel for them because for them, they want to just try and help, but sometimes the approach, like just badgering me to maybe go to the gym or badgering me to do this or badgering me to walk, extra, whatever it may be, it doesn't help me.
No.
In fact, it just puts me more off, pushes me further away. So I've just got to kind of just get myself in the zone, like I have done, understand why I want to do it, what I want to achieve, and just get on to do it.
Brilliant. That's good.
Do you ever feel that sometimes you stop yourself from doing things because you're worried about what your friends might actually say or something like that?
Yeah, regularly. Yeah, absolutely. It goes back to my point of I don't want to be a hindrance and I don't want to be a burden. And also, I'm at the age where if like I said, going back as a kid, like people might say things or do it and it wouldn't faze me. It was like, it kind of is what it is. Like, it's not nice, it's quite hurtful, but sod it. Like, I'd forget about it pretty quickly. I've always been quite thick-skinned. I could always kind of take a joke or look after myself. That's not. But now, it's like, seriously, like, that comes into my consideration about everything. It's like, what are they going to say? How are they going to react? What are people going to feel like? It's having that fear of being a nuisance or a burden and to them. So, I guess it is something I consider quite a lot.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate you being really honest with us as well, because this is the fact of we are trying to, let people know that it's okay not to be okay, and talk about what we've got to talk about.
I think you're positive. So I was going to say, I think you're positive, sort of way you approach all this, and you're still so. You're a lovely guy and you're really easy to... You're great to be around and you're so positive about everything, even though you have all these struggles that you haven't really told anyone, or not us anyway. And the fact you just get on with your day-to-day life it's really actually quite powerful thing to sit here and listen to you talk about this. Yeah.
And I hope that through the podcast that someone out there hears what you're saying and goes, actually I can relate to that.
Yeah, because people will relate to that, definitely.
100%, this is like, you're kind of like your first step to taking a lot of weight off your shoulders, and maybe that might just be what you need. Just being open so that people can take a bit more pressure off of you. People could be a bit more understanding. If people might turn to you and say, Hoff, actually, or whoever it may be, we've looked at the route, we're actually going to go to this place, I think you can manage it, or can you manage it? And having that sense of relief will just make you feel so much more comfortable, feel so much better. But also, hopefully, it might empower someone to actually go, right, actually, let's make a change. Let's actually try and do something about the situation before it becomes too late. Because that's that ultimately is what could be the worst case scenario here. You get yourself too far down the line and it's
end up with it.
You're a lost cause. That's it. You don't know how long you've got. So this is like a very, very
limited time in this surf, so you've got to use it wisely.
Exactly, absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
So how can we then challenge traditional stereotypes of masculinity that contribute to our body image? insecurities?
I think we do a little bit in the schools in terms of education anyway. A lot of work goes in around social media and stereotypes and body image. A lot of work. We have really, really carefully planned curriculum on it in terms of trying to educate people that isn't realistic and that isn't what you should be aiming for, and that they are one of the main dangers of social media. And we have a lot of training as teachers about the anxiety it causes to students, and things we have to look out for and stuff. So I think work is being I think the government appreciate this is a thing, and we need to intervene with it and do it at a young age. I don't have an answer to that question for people in their 20s and 30s.
I think it's being open. You know, we all seem to be suffering with pretty much the same thing. I wouldn't have said, looking around this room, that most of us would suffer with the same sort of things, because we don't talk about it. Yeah. You know, you don't go there and go, oh, I don't like the way I look, I've got a belly, or I don't like this about myself. Because we haven't said it, you think you're alone. But if you talk about it, you're not alone. And then maybe if you wanted to do something about it, you've got someone else in the same boat as you who you could talk to about it, or even just being open, and it gets it off your mind, and maybe you realise that there's nothing actually wrong with you, and you're just the same as everyone else.
Yeah.
It's so powerful when you tell somebody something and they say, I worry about that too.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge. Like, all of a sudden you think, oh, wow.
So it's creating a safe space, really, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
That we can do this, we can talk about it.
We haven't mentioned Old Wilsonians Pilsner.
Old Wilsonians Pilsner, the beer that's so refreshing it will make you want to water your plants. Just kidding. Well, not really. But seriously, this Pilsner is the perfect way to quench your thirst on a hot day on the football pitch. It's also great value for money. For just £30 you can get 7 pints of this delicious brew. And the best part is, it's served in a watering can. That's right, a watering can. The watering can is a symbol of the Old Wilsonian Sports Ground, where Old Wilsonians Pilsner is exclusively available. It's a place where people come to relax and enjoy themselves, and the watering can is a reminder that life is meant to be fun. So if you're looking for a delicious, affordable Pilsner that's served in a unique and memorable way, then Old Wilsonians Pilsner is the beer for you. Just head on down to the Old Wilsonian Sports Ground and get your hands on a watering can full of this refreshing brew. But be careful not to water your plants with it. Cheers.
So, with the fact that we have spoken about our insecurities, there is obviously some things that we do like about ourselves, and our partners like about us. Does anybody...
People don't have those.
Oh, okay, but I think you've got a great beard.
Cheers,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, you do have
Can I go a little bit more sort of south than his beard? You've got a good ass.
You do actually?
I am
Yes.
quite a
I didn't know if I should say that.
Those
the
top
pod
man
can't see it.
chinos, the top, yeah, that's true.
Again, if you want to
Those
see it,
top man trousers,
$4.99 on Patreon.
$4.99 on Patreon.
It shakes, bleeds.
It's got a lot of backs to this machine.
Have any of you ever felt Rory's ass?
Not
What?
that.
No?
Rory's got the softest bung you'll ever feel.
How many times have you felt it?
A lot. I've felt Rory's bum a lot in my life. It's so soft.
The Andrix of bums.
How I feel next week before the game. It's the softest thing.
When
I've
you
ever
say
felt.
soft,
What's going to be going up?
Yeah, like,
grabbing his arms.
It's
Like
almost
a
like
shell.
so if you like proper grab it, it feels like you're almost like a pillar. Like it's that line. You think
I'm going to
what's
squeeze
happened
it
here?
at a corner.
Yeah, squeeze.
Yeah,
it. Great.
we'll have a go.
I've done it once.
A little cheek grab.
I'm gonna have to ask
love it.
his permission first. Yeah.
Permission first.
Oh no,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
Don't just grab his arse.
Whisper in his ear.
And then go.
or just no context, just grab it and go, yeah, that is soft. And walk off.
Jack was right.
Oh yeah, interesting. So yeah, so Jack was right. That'd be creepy as fuck. I'd have to change rooms. Whatever happens. But that was a really wild 5 minutes.
yeah. So it's my
Terrible.
ears. My ears I get complimented that I have very nice small ears.
I think it's funny.
It's a bit weird because I can't see my own ears, but
It's not weird though, because if you had big ears,
Yeah, fantastic.
then you'd hate them and you'd pray for small ears. So why shouldn't you be positive about the fact that you do like that you haven't got,
You've got
you know,
great ears,
you don't
Jack.
look like Prince Charles
thank you, Jack.
in a downwind, you know?
I think the longer you've been in a relationship as well, and the more they tell you things, the more you start to believe it. So, like, Amy, to me, has said our whole relationship that she loves my nose. And I've always been like...
It is very straight.
A nose. But she's like, it's such a small button
It's a
nose.
cute button nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, I love your nose.
Does
And
she
I'm
give you
like,
Eskimo kisses?
No, we don't do that. My nose is too small.
Keep poking me.
Yeah. But now I'm like, yeah, maybe I do have a nice nose. And then she compliments like, and personally I agree, I think I've got nice legs. I've got very defined, toned legs.
Yeah.
And I like that.
I think you've got really good calves.
Yeah,
I do have
strong
good
calves.
calves. Strong
Strong
calves.
thigh.
Strong thigh, yeah.
Absolutely wrap football in
Yeah.
with those beasts.
Yeah. And you can football far.
What I enjoyed about that, you winked as you said, I've got good legs.
I didn't realise I winked.
Yeah, was he a wink at you? Is that
No,
right?
it was a wink at Chelsea, went, I've got good legs.
Just how to make you feel the wink.
I thought it was a competition. I was like, he's like, it's a leg off. And I was like, oh, well, I do like my legs. I do pride myself on good legs.
Competition.
Yeah,
No, not competition. Both got good legs.
Yeah.
And I think
Can I
agree.
also enter the room with quite good legs?
No, but I would be the back end of the horse if we did a horse and horse costume. You'd be the front.
And I'd be the middle leg.
Yeah.
Did you basically just call yourself a horse's cock?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
And on that awkward ending, see you next week.
But is there anything that you find positive about yourself, Jack Hoff, Lloyd?
I thought you were going to say me then. Jack off. Don't worry, Lloyd.
Also, I've realised that I went Jack Hoff and then really quickly, and it sounded like Jack off.
Yeah, no, sorry, he didn't ask you because he only asked the good-looking boys.
Yes, that's reasonable.
Lloyd, you've got great hair. And I've always
Has got good hair.
I've been staring at it the whole time.
Yeah, your hair is amazing.
Yeah, he has strong hair.
See, that's quite a nice thing, because one of the things I hate is my hair, weirdly. Because, well, I got bullied. Bullied's a strong word. I got teased.
We're not getting advertised revenue yet, and I don't think we will anytime soon, but maybe we do for that one.
If Cantu would like to sponsor me, or any of the other curly hair products, I'll tell a
Curly
story.
Whirly.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story. I will say one story quickly about that, because I was at the gym once and bringing it back. So I brought it back. That's good. That's
check
good.
us. That's cool, isn't it?
Callback.
And the locker was broken. It was one of those electronic lockers, and it broke. And I went to the desk.
What's that?
And I said, oh, look, definitely my locker. It was number 69.
Hey, top lad. Always been a top shagger.
It was actually 169. But, and I said, locker's not. That's not 169.
No, 619.
Oh,
Shocker.
embarrassing in front of the WWE fans.
And I went to the locker and I said, oh, my locker's broken. Yeah, it happens all the time. So they had to get a guy, and there's like this one guy working, because it was a men's changing room, and they had to pull him in as the only lifeguard. So I don't know what they did with the swimmers at that time. Asked them to leave.
Half of them drowned.
So this guy could come in. And he said, and obviously he's asking, oh wait, what brand is your bag? And my bag is like Amazon Prime, like I think it's like Jim Beast or something, like some generic term.
That sounds right.
It is not
cringy.
a recognisable brand, and I could not remember. And he opened it, and he's like, I'm still trying to think of the name. I was like, oh, it's a plane. And he goes, never mind, mate, this is yours, don't worry about it. I was like, how do you know it's mine? And I opened it, it's Coconut Curls Shampoo. And he just walked off. But I got curly queer quite a lot. And obviously right now
top queer bands. It's a curly queer, it was a top class banter when it came out, top queer banter.
Top queer. And so it got to the point where I don't like it short. So now I'm trying to grow it long, just to see where I get, just to see what
I think your problem with growing it long is you keep cutting it.
No, I haven't.
That is always a difficult thing.
I did go to the barber actually. I went to a proper like posh like Covent Garden barber, and he sat me down and he went, "So what are we doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm trying to grow my hair." And he said, "What the hell are you doing here?"
No, I think I know you went as in as for Halloween, but I think you've got a bit with the Tom Hiddleston sort of
I'll
low-key
take that.
look about you actually, with the sort of the
Low-key
But
or
it's-
low-key.
It's a nice compliment.
But it's I get it at work obviously quite a lot, because it's perfectly fine to say I don't think you could say that to a woman, like, what the hell is going on with your hair today? Because that would be, but I get it all the time, and I hate it. Because I get it, it's wild, but I'm also working 10-hour shifts, and I'm not that bothered about my hair at work, in truth. So we'll see.
Would you ever go
I
like
appreciate you.
an Alice band and like have it like pushed back a bit, Jack
I
Reed
have
style?
I have done, but the trouble is the Alice band just gets swallowed up. I'm sure there's one in there now.
I remember when I
somewhere.
tried. I remember when I was doing the hairspray, starting for Halloween. Oh, that sounds out.
Yeah,
starting your hair for you for Halloween, and I tried to run the brush through it, didn't I? And
You combed his hair.
Well, I just tried to brush.
Do you serenade him as well?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. He was sitting in the bath and he was, having a moment. No, I tried to brush it backwards behind his ears for the Loki outfit, and then the brush went, and then I was like, fucking good. And it was like rip through his fucking hair. His head was getting shook around the place. I was like, well, pat that right off. That's not going well. Gigs was crying after I just tried to brush his hair once.
It was beautiful.
So yeah,
Sure,
no, I appreciate
tender touch, isn't it?
it. Right, yeah.
So I appreciate. I
Like
genuinely do appreciate that, and I'll try and accept it because it's hard when it's something you've been teased out for your whole life. But it's one of those things where it's anything that's slightly different, anything that slightly differs from the norm in school, especially, you can be teased about, and so I appreciate that.
I like your eyes. You have really nice eyes.
Yeah, I was thinking
Mate, what I wouldn't give for your height, in all honesty.
I'd like to be
What was I going to say,
Yeah.
Bob? That's such a generic war now.
No, but it's
not
not really.
when your arse size is.
But
Yeah.
not when you're 5'8" and fat.
Yeah, not only the four of us. Us Sean Kings over here, including Stephen Pearce.
I'm actually officially 6'1". I don't
Officially?
work
Officially,
6'1".
nice.
Yeah. Well, because I was always like, I think I'm 6 foot. Ella my girlfriend always tells me I'm under 6 foot. And then
No,
I
you
had
definitely know that.
Yeah, well, yeah. So we've had an argument for about a year and a half. Or maybe
Ella, you're wrong.
At no point did you measure yourself to fix this
I
argument.
just assumed that. Yeah. Well, then at work they
Just
had
assume she was right.
No,
That's a good way to go.
That
sounds about right. Yeah.
No, it's me being like, no, you're wrong, I'm 6 foot. And then they had this thing at work, and it was it does like your BMI, your height, your weight, all this stuff. And I got an email saying I was 6'1", and I screenshot it. I sent it to I sent it to all my family. Being like, I've just been told I'm 6'1".
Were you wearing shoes?
No shoes off.
Oh, very good.
That's
shoes
official,
off,
man.
Because I'm very much of the 5 foot something height brigade, and I intentionally wear Air Force Ones and things like that just to boost it up on a day out. I mean, like, I am 5'9" in trainers, and that's all that matters because we're all the same height laying down.
When I don't see you for a while, I don't know how to explain this.
You forget how short I am?
No, I feel like you're taller. Like you give off tall energy.
Big man vibes.
That's the best compliment I've had in 29 years. I've had a good compliment.
It's only now the rare times we play next to each other. And I think, oh, yeah.
Yeah, you see me not win ahead and you're like, no, you're right.
He's back.
He's back.
I've said this about you before, Jack, that you have this sort of scruffy sort of look that you go for.
I always have go for.
Well, no, but it really works for you.
It does.
Yeah,
Like even when you had your like mullet, and you seem to you've grown it out a little bit more.
I like the mullet.
Oh, yeah.
The sort of size.
Also, so the mullet's something like this at the moment because last time when I was the first customer and she messed it up. I know I started as I walked out, but it was too late. No, she just didn't cut the sign. I went, oh.
How English is that, by the way? The whole like getting a haircut, hating it, and
There's
going,
not many
cheers.
people.
Can I thank you? Yeah, 20 quid.
Yeah.
Go
Few
to
and
the
six
mirror
minutes.
out and you're like, oh.
Yeah, when he looks around, you go, oh god, do you like it? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really good,
good,
cheers,
mate,
mate. Yeah,
cheers.
20 quid.
so
Yeah,
bad.
sweet.
She annoyed me so much. Obviously, I didn't say it to her face. I text my old barber straight away and was like, "Can you be free in 3 weeks?" She's coming around the front. Sort it out.
Yeah, no, I actually like it. I do, and because I know it's a lot of commitment for the.
There's not a lot of people that could pull off a mullet.
No, not in this day and age.
No.
No, unless you're Australian with a moustache, nobody can.
You have this sort of like confidence when you walk around that you just sort of give off like a I don't care
And
what
also-
people think vibe,
Which is interesting.
which is actually like a really
Yeah, I mean, you
It's a
wear
good
trainers
look.
from Lidl. That's a
and
compliment man.
the socks and the Gregs
And the Crocs.
Greg fleece. Yeah, so.
Yeah, like it's a compliment man to all wear.
Pop loves it. He sends me Instagram videos of like people wearing it.
I'm fully on board with it. It
I'm pretty
makes
sure
me
I've
laugh.
sent you a few.
Yeah, you have. Yeah. Oh, the Audi slide. Did you say?
The Aldi, was it Aldi?
But it is interesting because I actually don't care what people think. I care about what I think.
It's your own
But
opinion.
then as soon as someone goes, I'm like, do not care.
Yeah.
Like, it's not I just say it because and then go home and get upset. I generally do not care.
That's what I'm saying. Like for me, is there are some things I do and some things
Yeah.
I don't, and I can't switch it on and off. Which ones it is?
No, yeah, agreed.
Mate, if you don't mention that beard, I will.
Well, do you know what? Funnily enough, I was actually going to say. Yeah, I probably got to go over the beards. Probably.
But you can grow a full beard.
I used to.
It doesn't come down to the like. Mine comes down a little bit under my cheeks. Yours is on your cheeks.
Just going back to Hoff though, when you dress up smart, you look really good when you dress
Yeah, I
up.
think you did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pre-show, man.
On the final when you went at court, is it?
yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
yeah,
good.
I agree.
Looks
I
good.
agree.
And
Oh,
you've always got like such a friendly,
I was like,
happy
really big
face.
smile.
You're always
Yeah.
smart, you are, and you're
Yeah,
always
he does.
laughing, and you're always jolly.
Do you know what I think that is kind of like my character though, to be fair. I mean, my personality is always to try and please as many people as I can, get on with as many as many people as I can.
That's why women
like-
love you.
Well,
I can. Tash does. Can I just
Yeah.
say?
Ella does as well.
yeah, I'll take that. Obviously, it's a big compliment. I'll take that. But yeah, like I think that's just me, isn't it? I just try and just be myself, and there's not many people I dislike, you know, but sometimes it can be a bit of a negative, you know, trying to please everyone can be quite, you know,
draining.
Yeah, it can be draining, or it can, you know, bite you, you know, what's the word, what's the terminology? Bite you in the back, yeah, bite you in the arse, yeah. So,
thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Not So Old Boys podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. And also, don't forget to follow us on social media for updates and content. You can find us on Instagram at Not So Old Boys. And finally, if you have any questions or suggestions for future episodes, please send us a message. We love hearing from you.